I was only cleaning the alien queen's wound, but my hand slipped where it shouldn't. The chamber of the alien flagship was silent, except for the low hum of failing systems. Smoke still hung in the air from the explosion that had torn through the council hall minutes earlier. Guards stood frozen, weapons ready, unsure if the threat had truly ended. At the center of the room lay the alien queen, wounded but alive. Her blood was not red. It shimmered faintly, glowing pale silver as it seeped through the torn fabric of her ceremonial armor. The blast meant to kill her had failed, but it had left her weak. The royal healers had been injured or trapped elsewhere in the ship. Time was slipping away. That was how a human cleaner named Elias found himself standing before the most powerful being in the sector. Elias had not come to this ship as a soldier or diplomat. He was a contract worker, assigned to sanitation and basic maintenance for joint human-alien missions. He was known for keeping his head down, following rules and staying invisible. He never imagined he would be summoned into a royal chamber, surrounded by alien guards taller than any human he had ever seen. A commander pointed at him and barked an order through a translator. The queen needed immediate wound cleaning to prevent contamination. Elias tried to explain that he was not a royal medic, but the commander cut him off. He had basic medical training. That was enough. His hands shook as he knelt beside the queen. Up close, she looked even more imposing despite her injury. Her skin was smooth, patterned with faint natural markings that glowed softly in the dim light. Her eyes were half open, sharp even through pain. She watched him carefully, measuring him. "Do not fail," the commander warned. Elias swallowed hard. He focused on his training. Clean the wound, stop the bleeding, be respectful, do not offend. He had read the cultural briefings. Touching royal flesh was forbidden except by specific individuals, but leaving the wound untreated would kill her. He spoke softly, more to calm himself than her. He explained each step as he worked, even though he did not know if she fully understood. He cleaned debris from the wound, careful and slow. The queen tensed but did not pull away. Then the ship lurched. It was sudden and violent, a result of damaged stabilizers. Elias lost his balance for a split second. At the same moment, the queen reacted to a surge of pain, shifting her body instinctively. Elias' hand slipped. It brushed against a part of her body it should never have touched. The room stopped breathing. Guards roared. Weapons lifted. Nobles shouted words Elias could not understand, but their meaning was clear enough. Accusations, rage, calls for punishment. Elias froze, his face draining of color. He pulled his hand back instantly and stumbled away, dropping the medical cloth. His voice cracked as he apologized again and again, bowing his head, shaking so badly he could barely stand. "I didn't mean to," he said. "I swear, it was an accident, please." The queen's eyes widened, not with fury but shock. She raised a trembling hand. Silence fell. Every guard froze in place. No one dared speak. The queen slowly pushed herself upright, ignoring the pain. Her gaze moved from Elias to the gathered court. Her expression was unreadable. "Leave us," she commanded. The order stunned everyone. The commander hesitated. "Your Majesty, leave," she repeated, her voice weak but absolute. One by one, the guards and nobles withdrew, casting suspicious looks at the human. The doors sealed shut, leaving only Elias and the queen in the vast chamber. Elias sank to his knees, head bowed low. He waited for judgment, for death, for exile, anything. The queen studied him for a long moment. "You fear me," she said at last. "Yes," Elias answered honestly. "But not because you are queen, because I made a mistake I can't undo." She frowned slightly. "You did not look pleased." "I was terrified," he said. "I thought I had doomed us both." That answer seemed to confuse her. In her culture, such accidental contact was often met with pride or intent or challenge. But this human showed only fear and shame. She leaned back, wincing, then gestured weakly. "Finish the treatment." Elias looked up, stunned. You want me to continue. You were careful before," she said, An honest after, that matters. He nodded quickly and returned to his work more cautious than ever. This time he kept distance, steadying himself against the floor. He finished cleaning and sealing the wound, his movements precise despite his shaking hands. When he was done, he backed away and bowed deeply. The queen exhaled slowly. Her strength began to return, though questions now weighed heavier than pain. Outside the chamber, rumors spread like wildfire. Some claimed the human had insulted the queen deliberately. Others whispered darker theories. Political rivals smelled opportunity. An accident could become an excuse for war. Inside, the queen stared at the sealed doors, deep in thought. The human cleaner had touched something forbidden, but not with desire, not with arrogance. Only with care, followed by fear. That difference mattered more than anyone realized. And far beyond the ship, unseen forces had already begun to shift. The doors of the royal chamber opened hours later, and the queen emerged on her own feet. Her wound was sealed, her posture steady, but her expression was unreadable. The court fell silent the moment they saw her alive. Behind her, the human cleaner did not appear. Whispers rushed through the hall like a living thing. Some nobles lowered their heads in relief. Others narrowed their eyes, already turning the incident into a weapon. The queen took her throne slowly, every movement deliberate, every breath controlled. "Summon the council," she ordered. The command carried weight. Within minutes, the full court gathered. Generals, priests, diplomats, and rival nobles filled the chamber. At the far edge, guards brought Elias forward in restraints. He looked smaller than ever. He did not resist. His eyes stayed low. He expected judgment, maybe execution. He had accepted that fate during the long hours alone in a holding room, replaying the accident again and again in his mind. The queen studied him from the throne. "Remove the restraints," she said. A wave of shock rippled through the court. The commander stepped forward. "Your Majesty, the law will wait," the queen replied calmly. The restraints were removed. Elias rubbed his wrists but kept his head bowed. The queen rose. "In this chamber," she began, "many of you saw an act you believed to be an insult. Some of you believed it was a challenge, others saw opportunity." Her eyes moved slowly across the room. "You were wrong." Murmurs followed, confused and uneasy. She turned her gaze back to Elias. "This human did not seek honor, power, or advantage. He sought only to stop me from bleeding to death." She explained what had happened in clear detail: the damaged ship, the sudden movement, the immediate apology, the fear, the shame. He did not hide, he did not defend himself, he did not claim ignorance. He accepted blame without intent. The priests whispered among themselves. In their culture, intent was often ignored in favor of ritual meaning, but the queen was rewriting that balance. A noble rose sharply. "If this act is forgiven, then tradition is meaningless." The queen met his stare without flinching. "Tradition that values pride over truth deserves to be questioned." The room went still. She continued, "If I had died, humans would be blamed. War would follow. This cleaner prevented that future." She raised her voice just enough to carry authority. "Therefore, I declare this matter closed. No punishment, no retaliation." Some nobles looked furious, others thoughtful. Then she added, "The human known as Elias is placed under my protection." That final sentence struck harder than any weapon. After the council was dismissed, Elias was escorted not to a cell but to a quiet medical wing. He was examined, fed, and given clean clothes. He could not understand why he was alive, much less protected. Hours later, a guard informed him the queen wished to speak with him privately. Fear returned instantly. He followed the guard into a smaller chamber, warm and quiet. The queen sat near a window overlooking the stars, no guards inside. "You may sit," she said. Elias sat carefully. "You saved my life," she said plainly. "I only did my job," he replied. She tilted her head. "Your job did not require honesty afterward, yet you chose it." He hesitated, then spoke from the heart. Where I come from, touching someone without consent, especially in a medical moment, is serious. Even if accidental, I couldn't pretend otherwise. That answer stayed with her. She told him about her culture, about how such contact was often linked to power, claiming, or dominance. How many before him would have used the moment to their advantage? You did not, she said. That confuses my people. It confuses me too, Elias admitted softly. Over the following days, political pressure grew. Rival houses challenged the Queen's decision. Human diplomats demanded assurance. Rumors spread across the sector. Through it all, Elias remained quiet, helpful, and invisible, just as he had always been. The Queen noticed. She summoned him again, this time not as a judge but as a listener. She asked about Earth, about human customs, about why humans placed such importance on intent. He explained simply that actions mattered, but so did reasons. That mistakes were part of being alive. Slowly something changed, not romance, not desire, but respect. The Queen realized that strength did not always roar. Sometimes it apologized. At a final public assembly, she addressed the empire. This incident will be remembered, she declared, not as a scandal but as a lesson. She announced new protocols for joint missions, emphasizing intent, consent, and understanding between species. Then she turned to Elias. For your service, honesty, and restraint, you are granted free status, protection, and choice. He blinked. Choice, Your Majesty. You may return home, she said, or you may stay. Elias thought of his old life, invisible, replaceable. He thought of a future shaped by something unexpected. I will stay, he said. The Queen nodded once. Far beyond the chamber, the galaxy took note, not of an accident, but of a moment where truth prevented war. And a simple human cleaner changed history by doing the right thing, even when afraid. The days after the public assembly felt unreal to Elias. He had been given a small living space near the inner ring of the flagship, not luxurious, but clean and quiet. For the first time in his life, guards greeted him with respect instead of ignoring him. That change alone made him uneasy. He still wore the same simple habits. He woke early. He helped where help was needed. He cleaned, repaired, and assisted medical staff without complaint. Many aboard the ship expected him to act proud after the Queen's declaration. He did not. That only made people watch him more closely. Across the ship, the Queen faced a different kind of pressure. Some noble houses obeyed her ruling publicly while quietly resisting it. Others feared that her decision would weaken ancient traditions. Messages arrived from distant systems, questioning her authority. She answered them all with calm precision. What she did not answer were her own thoughts. She found herself thinking often of the human. Not of the accident, but of what followed. Of the way he accepted blame without anger. Of how he spoke truth even when it endangered him. Strength, she realized, did not always look like power. One evening, she summoned Elias again. This time the room was not a throne chamber or council hall. It was a simple observation deck, stars stretching endlessly beyond the wide glass. You may stand where you wish, she said. Elias stood near the window, hands folded, eyes careful. I have read your record, the Queen said. You have never requested promotion, never filed a complaint, never sought attention. I didn't think it was my place, Elias replied. Why not? He paused. Where I come from, some people are meant to be seen. Others are meant to keep things working so life can continue. The Queen considered that. Do you believe that is just? I believe it's common, he said honestly. She turned toward him. This ship continues because of many unseen hands, including yours. That statement followed Elias long after the meeting ended. Soon after, trouble came. A border faction used the incident as an excuse to provoke conflict, accusing the Queen of weakening royal law for human interests. A patrol was attacked. Lives were lost. The court demanded a response. War loomed once again. The Queen gathered her commanders, advisors, and diplomats. Strategies were debated. Displays of strength were suggested. Retaliation plans filled the room. Elias was present only because he had been assigned to assist with logistics. He listened quietly. At one point, a general declared, "We must strike first. Mercy has been mistaken for weakness." The queen said nothing at first. Then she looked at Elias. "You have faced fear without power. What would humans do here?" Every eye turned toward him. Elias stiffened. "I don't speak for all humans," he said carefully. "But where I'm from, when someone tries to provoke a fight, sometimes the strongest move is to deny them the reason." Silence followed. He continued, voice steady. "If they want war, give them proof they are wrong. Aid their wounded. Return captured supplies. Show restraint publicly, strength privately." Some scoffed. Others listened. The queen raised a hand. "Enough." She dismissed the council. Later, she chose a path few expected. Relief ships were sent to the border faction. Medical aid, food, no weapons, no threats. The galaxy watched closely. The provocation failed. Public opinion turned. The faction lost support. The queen's rule stabilized. In the aftermath, she addressed Elias privately. "You advised without ambition," she said. "You spoke truth without demand." "I only said what I thought might save lives," he replied. "That," she said softly, "is leadership." From that day forward, Elias was no longer just a cleaner. He became a quiet advisor, consulted not for strategy alone but for perspective. He never sat at the head of a table. He never raised his voice. Yet his words carried weight. Over time, the queen changed as well. She listened more. She questioned tradition. She ruled with firmness guided by understanding. Their bond remained one of respect. No rumors, no false stories, just two beings from different worlds who had learned to trust. One night, standing again before the stars, the queen spoke quietly. "A single moment nearly ended everything," she said. Elias nodded. "And a single choice stopped it." She looked at him. "You could have lied that day. You could have protected yourself." "I wouldn't have been able to live with that," he said. She smiled faintly. "Neither could I, far away." Histories would later record the incident as a turning point. Not because of scandal, not because of power, but because one ordinary human chose honesty over fear. And an alien queen chose truth over tradition. Together, without planning it, they changed the direction of many lives. Not through force, but through understanding. Time moved forward, but the moment that had begun everything was never forgotten. Across the Empire, new policies took shape. Joint missions between humans and aliens increased. Cultural guides were rewritten, no longer focused only on law and rank, but on intent, choice, and responsibility. At the center of this quiet change stood Elias, still wearing simple clothes, still refusing titles he did not feel he deserved. The queen watched all of it carefully. She noticed how people treated him, not with fear, not with envy, but with trust. When problems arose, crew members sought his advice. When tensions flared, his calm presence eased them. He did not command, yet people listened. That unsettled some nobles. A powerful house, long threatened by the queen's reforms, decided it was time to act. They spread rumors quietly, twisting the old incident into something darker. They claimed the queen had grown too close to a human, that her judgment was clouded, that the empire was being reshaped by weakness. Whispers became accusations. The queen was summoned to a grand conclave, a rare gathering meant to judge rulers themselves. Attendance was mandatory. Elias was warned not to come. He went anyway, not as an advisor, not as a symbol, just as a witness. The hall was enormous, carved from living stone, filled with representatives from countless worlds. When the queen entered, all eyes followed her. She walked alone, steady and proud. The accusations were presented one by one. Tradition broken, authority questioned. Influence from outsiders. Finally, Elias was named. "He stands too close to the throne," one elder said. "He is proof of favoritism." Elias stepped forward before anyone could stop him. "I stand where I am told," he said simply, and I speak only when asked. Gasps followed. Humans rarely spoke uninvited in such places. The queen raised a hand, allowing him to continue. I was a cleaner, Elias said. I had no power, no rank, no protection. I made a mistake. I took responsibility. The queen judged intent, not rumor. Everything that followed came from that choice. He looked around the chamber. If that is weakness, he added quietly, then I hope more rulers choose it. Silence fell. The elders withdrew to deliberate. Hours passed. Tension filled the hall. At last the judgment was delivered. The queen's rule was upheld. The reforms were approved. The incident was officially recorded as an act of service, not scandal. When the assembly ended, the queen did something unexpected. She descended from the throne platform and stood beside Elias, not above him. You spoke when it mattered, she said. I only told the truth, he replied. That is never only, she answered. In the days that followed, change accelerated. Other leaders requested meetings. Human and alien alliances strengthened. Conflicts that once seemed inevitable were resolved through dialogue. Elias was offered a permanent role in interspecies relations. This time he accepted, not for status, but because he had learned that staying silent forever was also a choice. One evening, as the ship traveled through calm space, the queen invited Elias to walk the inner gardens. Bioluminescent plants glowed softly around them. You once said some people are meant to be unseen, she said. Yes, Elias replied. Do you still believe that? He thought carefully. I believe some people choose to be unseen, but no one should be unheard, she smiled. They stopped near a quiet pool. Reflections shimmered across the surface. The future will remember you, the queen said. Elias shook his head. I hope it remembers the lesson instead, she nodded. Then it will remember us both. Far beyond the ship, stories spread across the galaxy. Not exaggerated tales of power or scandal, but a simple truth repeated in many languages. That once, during chaos and fear, a ruler listened, and a powerless human spoke honestly. That moment did not end the world. It saved it. And in that saving, a new path was opened. One built not on dominance or tradition alone, but on understanding. For the queen, for Elias, and for countless others yet to come.